It's very beautiful, but very, very, very remote. Very few people inhabit the area. Daily, we being Northcentral Montana Transit, travel an area about the size of the state of Maryland. The size of it is immense.
Rural or frontier Montana or rural frontier communities have different challenges and different needs.
The main challenge I think that we face here is distance.
And it's because we have very low population density that transportation is even more important.
We need to keep schools open. We need to keep hospitals open in our rural areas. We need to create jobs. Well, how do you do that? You need transportation.
Transportation here is a huge challenge. If you don't have transportation, you don't have access to the basic necessities of life. You can't buy food, medical care, you can't go to school. It's just an essential part of life.
Why shouldn't we have a community that is livable? Why shouldn't we have access to those services that are readily available in the larger metropolitan areas?
The Northcentral Montana transit system was launched in August of 2009. It was predicted that the bus line would see a couple hundred riders each month, but in the 200 days the line has been in operation, they've seen over 13,000 riders.
You know, even the sizes of the bus that we ordered originally, 17 passenger. The first day of operation, we exceeded that. By the second week, we were scrambling trying to find a large enough passenger bus so that we could make one of our runs because we had 20-some people standing at the bus stop on a daily basis. And thank goodness they didn't lose faith in us and they, started thinking this could be a good thing.
We never thought that it would take off like it did. Northcentral Montana transit system has been wildly successful.
People are able to make their medical appointments, and elderly, some of them are not able to drive or get someone to help them get to another community.
On our very first day, August 24th, 2009, I was getting ready for the event that we were going to have to launch the transit, and I received a phone call from a lady who said that she was from out in the far reaches of Fort Belknap, and she was crying because she had needed dental work, and the dental surgeon that she needed to go to was in Great Falls. And she said that she'd needed it for several years, and she could find a connection from Fort Belknap to Havre, but that she had a terrible time being able to afford a connection from Havre on into Great Falls. And it was hard to understand her because she said that her mouth was in such bad shape, she'd been so sick. But she was able to go have dental work because of the transit. There's many stories like that.
To have this type of service available to us raises our standard of living, and you're able to make more connections with other communities and people. It's been a good thing.
You have local and tribal governments at the table, you have economic development organizations at the table, you have poverty reduction groups at the table, you have the university system at the table, you have physicians in the hospital at the table, and so in a very real way it does take a village to make these type of things happen. They don't just happen overnight. What Northcentral Montana Transit has done an excellent job at is bringing everybody to the table. Without those partnerships, this wouldn't be the success that it has been. This matters. It makes a difference in the lives of people who live in a place that oftentimes has been left out of the national economic scene. Transit systems, particularly in rural areas throughout this country, don't bankroll themselves. And so we need forward-thinking, progressive policymakers at both the state and federal level to understand that investing in public transit systems in rural areas is truly an investment versus a cost or an expense. And that as we move forward, I would hope that those policymakers would make the right decision and invest wisely in public transit for rural areas.
what futures can we impact with NCMT? I'm more of a person that wants to reflect on growing our communities, growing those assets, making sure that barriers that people encounter in order to improve their lives or to make their lives more vibrant. If we focus on that, then we're bound to improve a lot of futures.
It's amazing that one thing as simple as a ride can change a person's life.